Tech Tales 45 today, June 1st on a Tuesday morning, 5:39 a.m. and the sun's not quite up yet. Here's a look out my window. I'm facing the west, so as the sun comes up, the street gets lighted. On the other side of the street, there's a tree out there right in front of my window, so you don't see very much across the street. But it's early and we're expecting 106 degrees today in Fresno, California. So let's go with the time slip. February 18th on a Tuesday, 7 minutes. This is for the apartment building Mike. 2:59 to 3:06 p.m. for Juliet in the office. Phone and remote support to reset Outlook 2010 email credentials due to Outlook 2010 email Whoops, wait a minute. I started rereading the same line. Phone and remote support to reset Outlook 2010 email credentials due to unable send receive emails. I think this might be the second time slip I've told about for this, and eventually you're going to wind up fixing that. It just keeps happening day after day and used to work fine. So eventually I wind up abandoning 2010 Outlook on that computer. Then the next time slip also for apartment building Mike, also on Tuesday, 53 minutes, 3:56 p.m. to 5:10 p.m. And this is for Romeo. Completed process of upgrading the security desk to Windows 10. Did I? Yeah, so I didn't put the number 10 there. I'm not going to put it now because then that messes up the order of how time slips show up on the invoice. I'll edit it on the invoice. Reconnected OneDrive. Now remember, I started this because OneDrive wasn't working under Windows 7. Tested Excel and VizReg. Verified with another Mike, another person named Mike. I kind of hesitated for a moment because it's kind of a unusual name, and I questioned, did I misspell it? No, it's the first time I encountered this staff person at the security desk. So verified with Mike, visitor registration, printing name badges, and printer to copier. And print to copier is working. Wow, that time slip is just really kind of messed up with some typos. I was wondering, is it just because my voice isn't working yet this morning? No, there's actually some wrong words there. So I'll fix that again on the invoice. I mentioned VizReg in there and Visitor Register. That is a program that I created within Microsoft Access for the security desk to be able to register visitors who come in. They issue security badges. They have to keep track of who's in the building at any time in case some emergency condition happens. So that was a pretty big programming project that I did for them, just within the programming capabilities of Microsoft Access and Visual Basic. I occasionally get involved in a programming project like that. I don't do a lot of them because I like that work once in a while, but I don't want to do a lot of it. Then the law office pop-up, also on Tuesday, an hour and 13 minutes, 6:06 p.m. to 7:19 p.m. for Mike in that office. And keep in mind, anytime I use these mnemonics, there's several Mikes in this office. Begin processing of checklist, add new user to an existing workstation. Changed 3 phone extension assignments to accommodate Mike and a retired extension. So to break that down a little bit, begin processing of checklist, quote, add new user to an existing workstation, quote. So that phrase is the title of a checklist. Back in history, I used to enumerate or spell out the major things that comprised of. And it just became so repetitive that I just started saying, okay, this checklist, that checklist. And if anyone ever wants to know what that is, I can show them the checklist. It actually has check marks for each job that I do. So for this person's migration to a new user to an existing computer, I've got a completed checklist for that operation. And then change 3 phone extensions. I've told you a number of times before. I use this IP phone administration software to reassign names and extension numbers to the physical phones. And in this case was actually retiring an extension. So when I do this, and I know I had a previous time slip that I didn't spell out for you. What I do is I have a table in OneNote on a page within OneNote titled something to the effect of via IP phone reassignments. It's not that long. It probably just says phones. But the idea is that on that page within OneNote, I have a table every time I go to do a reassignment. And it has rows and columns. So the rows are the people's names. And the columns would be physical station ID number, old extension number, previous person's name, new extension number, new person's name. You know, and as I describe this, I'm thinking the first column might be that station ID number. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. But anyway, I do it on this table because if I try to do it out of my head within the via IP phone software, it's just so easy to get it mixed up. Because there's a station ID, there's an old extension, there's a new extension, there's an old person, there's a new person, there's 3 different tabs that I have to go to within the software to make these changes. And at various times, the software is kind of freaking out because it says error, 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 until I get everything changed. And then for each one of those pages, I have to save the changes. So when I go to another page and make a change and save it, and then once I get them all done, I have to save the entire database of changes, and then I have to instruct it when to reboot the system in order to apply the new changes. And it's pretty easy to make a mistake, so I just find it's much more reliable and gives me record tracking to put it into a table. And if I make a mistake, it's a whole lot easier to go back and figure that out later, because either I made a mistake in my planning or I made a mistake in my execution. And if I have my plan laid out within OneNote, it's a whole lot easier to go back and compare the plan to the actual settings in the system and see if the changes were implemented the way that I intended. So that whole project there was 52 minutes after hours, all done remotely. Most all of, you know, I realized that I'm not specifying remote work. I used to do that, but now it's pretty much all remote unless I'm actually physically installing a computer or physically swapping backup drives, things like that. So then, let's see, what's this one? Oh yeah, let's go ahead and do this one. This is the following day, Wednesday, 10 minutes, 8:50 a.m. to 9 a.m. for the apartment building mic. And this is for Juliet, back on phone and remote connection to reset Outlook 2010 email. Plan to upgrade the computer to Microsoft 365 after hours. Now this is what, the 3rd or 4th time, almost daily. I have to say, no, that's enough. We're gonna abort Outlook 2010. Maybe there is some way to fix it to make it work. It's just not worth trying to make it work because we want to eventually have everyone migrated to Microsoft 365 anyway. So I'm just saying, all right, we're just gonna do this now. I do not have to check with anyone for those kinds of decisions. For all of my clients, I make the decision what needs to be done when. I do not have an MSP relationship with my clients, but I have a trust relationship with my clients where they trust me to make the choices and decisions. And there have been times in the past where I might discuss things with clients, and as they become more and more comfortable and trusting of me, they don't just do it. And so I just make the decisions and do the things that make sense and explain it on the invoice. And some of my clients read over the invoices sometimes. Some of them never read the invoices. I guess I don't really know that, but that's my impression. So anyway, I think that's it for this time. I hope that was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.